I never thought my own sister would humiliate my husband at our family dinner. She called him a burden, laughed at his wheelchair, and said I deserved better. But when he quietly rolled away and returned with a single document, her laughter died. What he revealed destroyed her completely. Before we dive into this incredible story of family betrayal and shocking revelations, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't believe how this unfolds, and stick around until the end, because the twist will leave you speechless. Now, let me tell you what happened that changed everything. My name is Lisa, and I thought I knew my family. I thought I understood what love meant, what loyalty looked like, and what true strength was. But one Sunday evening at my parents' house, everything I believed about the people closest to me shattered into pieces. What started as a simple family dinner became the night that exposed who everyone really was beneath the surface. Let me take you back to the beginning. 4 years ago, I married Tom, the most incredible man I'd ever met. He was successful, funny, kind, and had this amazing ability to light up any room he walked into. We had this beautiful life together, traveling, building our careers, dreaming about our future. Then 2 years ago, everything changed in an instant. Tom was driving home from a business meeting on a rainy Thursday night when a drunk driver ran a red light and slammed into his car. The doctors said he was lucky to be alive, but the damage to his spinal cord meant he'd never walk again. I remember sitting in that sterile hospital room, holding his hand as he cried, not from physical pain, but from fear that I'd leave him. That broke my heart more than anything else. The idea that this man, who had given me nothing but love and joy, thought I would abandon him because of a wheelchair was devastating. I looked him straight in the eyes that night and promised him that we were in this together no matter what, and I meant every single word. The adjustment wasn't easy. I won't lie about that. Our house needed modifications, our routines changed, and yes, there were moments of frustration and sadness. But Tom never let it break his spirit. If anything, he became more determined, more focused. He started working from home, dove deep into his consulting work, and slowly began building something new from the ground up. What amazed me most was his attitude. He never complained, never felt sorry himself, never let his circumstances define his worth. He adapted, he overcame, and he kept moving forward with this quiet strength that made me fall in love with him all over again. But not everyone in my family saw it that way. That was it. No mention of his career, his personality, his achievements, just Lisa's husband, as if that was the only thing that defined him. Tom, being the gracious person he is, extended his hand to Brad with a warm smile and started asking genuine questions about his work, but I could see Amanda fidgeting, clearly uncomfortable with the interaction. Dinner started peacefully enough. We talked about Mom's garden, Dad's retirement plans, and Brad shared some stories about his latest business trips. Tom contributed to the conversation naturally, making jokes and offering insights that had everyone laughing. For a moment, I thought maybe I'd been wrong about Amanda's attitude, but then Brad mentioned something about his company looking for technology consultants, and Tom's eyes lit up. He started explaining some of the latest trends in digital transformation, speaking with the kind of expertise that comes from years of experience. Brad was genuinely interested, leaning forward and asking follow-up questions. That's when Amanda interjected with a laugh that sounded sharp and forced. "Oh, Tom used to do that kind of work," she said, emphasizing the past tense. "Before the accident, of course. Now he mostly just stays home." The table went quiet. Tom's smile faltered just slightly, but he recovered quickly. "Actually, I still consult," he said calmly. "Working from home has opened up some interesting opportunities." Amanda waved her hand dismissively. "Right, but it's not the same as having a real career anymore, is it? I mean, you can't exactly compete in the business world from a wheelchair." I felt my blood pressure spike. "Amanda, that's completely inappropriate," I said, my voice harder than I intended, but she was just getting started. Maybe it was the wine, or maybe it was having Brad there as her audience, but something had unleashed the worst version of my sister. She leaned back in her chair with this cruel smirk and said, "I'm just being realistic, Lisa. You're both young, You could still have a normal life if you wanted to." "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked, though I dreaded the answer. "I mean, look at yourself," Amanda continued, gesturing at me with her wine glass. "You're beautiful, smart, successful. You could be with someone who can actually take care of you, someone who can give you the life you deserve. Instead, you're stuck playing nurse to someone who can't even—" "Stop!" Tom's voice cut through her words like a blade. It was quiet, but there was something in his tone that made everyone freeze. "Just stop." Amanda's eyes widened, probably surprised that Tom was finally responding to her provocations. But instead of backing down, she seemed to take it as permission to continue. "Oh, now you're going to get upset," she said with a bitter laugh. "Tom, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but someone needs to say what everyone's thinking. Lisa is wasting the best years of her life taking care of you. She's become your caregiver, not your wife. And honestly, you're being selfish by letting her sacrifice everything for you." The silence that followed was deafening. My parents looked mortified. Brad was staring at his plate, and I was shaking with rage. But Tom just sat there with this strange, calm expression on his face. "You think Lisa is sacrificing everything for me?" he asked quietly. "Obviously," Amanda said, emboldened by what she mistook for defeat. "Look at this situation objectively, Tom. You can't work a real job, you can't travel properly, you can't even take her dancing anymore. What exactly are you bringing to this marriage besides guilt and obligation?" That did it. I started to stand up, ready to tell Amanda exactly what I thought of her and her toxic attitude, but Tom gently touched my arm. "Actually," he said, still in that eerily calm voice, "I need to show you something. Will you excuse me for a moment?" Before anyone could respond, Tom rolled himself away from the table and disappeared down. "What's in there, your participation trophies?" she asked with a smirk, apparently unable to help herself. Tom didn't respond to the jab. Instead, he opened the case and pulled out a folder thick with documents. He selected the top page and slid it across the table to Amanda. "Go ahead," he said. "Take a look." Amanda picked up the paper with an exaggerated sigh, clearly expecting to humor him, but as her eyes scanned the document, her expression changed completely. The color drained from her face and her mouth fell open slightly. "What is it?" Brad asked, leaning over to see. Amanda's voice came out as barely a whisper. This is a bank statement." "That's right," Tom said calmly. "Keep reading." I was as confused as everyone else. Tom and I shared our finances, but I handled most of the day-to-day banking while he focused on his work. I leaned over to see what had shocked Amanda so thoroughly. The number at the bottom of the page made my jaw drop. It was a balance of over $2 million. "I don't understand," Amanda stammered. "This has to be fake." Tom pulled out another document. "That's last quarter's revenue from my consulting business," he said matter-of-factly. "This one shows the contracts I have lined up for next year." He spread the papers across the table like he was dealing cards. Each document told the same story. Tom hadn't just maintained his career after the accident. He'd transformed it into something far more successful than it had ever been. But you work from home," Amanda said weakly. "Yes, I do," Tom replied. "Turns out some of the biggest companies in the world don't care where you're sitting when you solve their problems. They only care about results." He pulled out another set of... Tom started gathering up his documents, his point thoroughly made, but he wasn't done speaking. "Amanda," he said, his voice gentler now, "I don't want you to feel bad about what you've said tonight, but I do want you to understand something. The accident didn't take away my ability to contribute, to succeed, or to take care of my wife. If anything, it taught me what really matters and gave me the focus to build something bigger than I ever imagined." He gestured to me with obvious love and pride. "Lisa didn't sacrifice anything by staying with me. She gained a partner who was more motivated, more grateful, and more determined than ever before. Our marriage isn't built on obligation or pity. It's built on love, respect, and shared dreams that we're making come true together." Amanda finally broke down. The tears came in great heaving sobs that shook her whole body. "I'm so sorry," she choked out. "I'm so sorry. I thought you were holding Lisa back. I thought she deserved better and I was trying to protect her." "From what?" Tom asked. "From happiness? From a partnership built on love instead of convenience? From a man who would do anything to make her dreams come true?" "I was wrong," Amanda admitted through her tears. "I was so wrong about everything. I judged you based on your wheelchair instead of your character. I measured your worth by what I could see instead of who you really are." Mom finally broke her stunned silence. "Tom, I had no idea about any of this. The foundation, the business success, none of it." "That was intentional," Tom replied. "I wanted to prove something to myself first. I needed to know that I could still build something meaningful, still contribute, still be the man Lisa fell in love with. Once I knew that for certain, the rest didn't matter as much." Dad shook his head in amazement. "Son, what you've accomplished is extraordinary, but what's even more extraordinary is the grace you've shown tonight." Tom looked around the table, his gaze lingering on Amanda's tear-stained face. "We're family," he said simply. "Family makes mistakes, family learns, and family forgives. But family also needs to do better." Brad had been quiet throughout this entire exchange, but now he spoke up. "Amanda, I think we need to talk," he said, his tone serious. "Some of the things you said tonight, I don't know if I can be with someone who thinks that way about people with disabilities." Amanda looked stricken. "Brad, please. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I can change. I can be better." "I hope you can," he replied, but his voice held doubt. The evening ended with hugs, apologies, and promises to do better. The foundation has grown beyond anything we imagined. We've helped thousands of people now, not just with business ventures, but with education, accessibility, and community building. Tom speaks at conferences around the world. Yes, he travels extensively now, and yes, we go dancing every weekend at accessible venues that welcome everyone. But the most important lesson from that terrible, wonderful night is this: never judge someone's worth by what you can see on the surface. Tom's wheelchair didn't make him less capable, less valuable, or less worthy of love and respect. It simply changed how he navigated the world, and in many ways it made him more determined to make a positive impact. Love isn't about finding someone who meets all your superficial requirements. It's about finding someone whose character, values, and heart align with yours. It's about building something together that's bigger than either of you could create alone. That night at my parents' house, Amanda learned that the hard way, but sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that change us the most. Today she's a different person, more compassionate, more open-minded, and more aware of the strength that exists in forms she never recognized before. And Tom? He's still the same incredible man I married, just with a few more success stories to tell and a wheelchair that never slowed him down for a second. Can you believe Amanda's reaction when she realized the truth? Tom's grace under pressure was incredible.